All right, so here I am working on Rosette stuff, and here I'll show you where we are now. All right, first things first, I finished cutting out all those pieces. So that's my scraps, my leftovers. Just like I showed in the other video, I just followed my line around to those. Now I have not filed the edges yet, but you get the idea. This is kind of the idea I'm going with, is to put them in a circle. I have those. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them or not, but I have them and I can do that. And then I'm cutting off some little pieces of this, and as you can see, I've just got my jig up here. I did this one with the first one. It's pretty slow. I'm going to try it with the other saw here in a second. This is my fret cutting saw, so I don't really want to use that, but it may be the best one to use for this particular piece of wood. It's African blackwood, so it's really hard and dense. But the idea is that I can cut a piece like this, and then I can taper it, and I can put them in this way, and I can make some little lines that way. Or what I'm kind of thinking is I might cut them and put them in this way and make a line down the center. And if I do it right, I can even alternate it with some of this lighter wood or some of this right here. This is Padauk, and make a more interesting contrast in the center. It's a thought I'm going with. Not sold on it yet. We'll see how it goes at this point. And I do also have this strip right here. It's a piece of failed binding that I had made at one point in time. I was trying to see if I could make binding out of mesquite. So this is a piece of mesquite, and I got a little bend in it. It was really hard for me to bend when I did that. So I might try to bend that up on an iron later to make a contrasting either center line or inside line to go with that, if I can get it to bend like I like. Mesquite's not real happy about that. So anyway, this is really easy. You eyeball a little piece just past your line, maybe 1.5 millimeters, 2 millimeters, and cut it out. 2 millimeters is probably pretty good. That'll leave you with about 1.5 millimeters, and you use your saw in the spot like that to cut that. So easy peasy. I'll make a bunch of those and then get back with you. All right, so Jacob here, and we're in the midst of rosette making. So let me come down here and let y'all see what we're working on here. Okay, I got all of these pieces cut out and working on getting them to fit into my rosette here. I want as little slop as possible, so this one may be a little bit small, this one is right on, and this one is too big. So I'm working on sanding the edge of that, and my choice is to take my offcut that this fits right into and put my piece of sandpaper in between that and sanding with my radius to try to keep it in here. It actually works better with the other sandpaper here because it's a little higher grit here. This takes a bit longer. And hopefully, in no time at all, still just slightly big. You can get it to fit in. The other thing you can do is, if you've got that outside radius is just right, maybe you can file a little bit of the inside radius. So you take your little offcut from the inside, and we do the same thing. Remember, that's a little different radius. Hopefully you saved your offcuts, right? You don't have to save them forever. Long enough to get the job done, right? All right, we are almost fitting in there. So you want a good fit so that there's no gaps between your rosette and the wood of the guitar when you go to inlay it. And so my jig right here is exactly the same as what I will cut for the rosette on the guitar. Alright, so I've got one side kind of fitting in. Now, if you didn't save your offcuts, you can do this. And try to keep your radius, but I think that's a little harder. So I've got one side fitting in, the other side not quite. Go ahead and put it in this one just again and work that a little farther. We're almost there. You can work all of one side or all of the other. Both of the sides are good and sanded now. There we go. Well, okay, it sits, but it's really tight. I'm going to just go just a little bit more. So I don't feel like I'm going to ruin it going in and out. Alright, here we go. We are in. Now I've got one more of those to do, I think, and then I'll work on cutting edges to make them all fit in correctly. And I've got all these little pieces that I don't know, I'll probably put in between or make a line down the center maybe. A lighter color and a darker color. So here's the lighter color. And yes, I know these darker ones are wider, but they are the same thickness this way. So those can be cut down to whatever I want. I can split them into multiple pieces, or I can leave them that wide, or however I want to do it. I haven't decided yet, but I've got some pieces here. Now, should you want to cut your rosette out of one piece of wood, you know, maybe you've got some leftover from cutting the back or whatever, you know, you can just cut your reference hole for that and then mark your outside and mark your inside and work your way around it with the circle cutter until you get it through. Cut it out that way. That works too. You get a solid piece of wood for your rosette. So I'm going to continue on this. I took my pins out for my black and white here. I may still use it. I may put the black and white just a double around the edges. Or I may come in and after I've gotten the wood inlaid, I may come back in and do a little line through the middle and put the black, white, black or something like that through the center and try to dress it up. I'll see how it goes. Okay, well, here I am in the shop again, and I'm toying with some ideas over here with the rosette. So here we go. So the headstock would be over here, neck over here, bridge over here. And so what I've done is I've taken my pieces, I've cut them, and I set a straight edge from the center of my circle and cut out, and made the mold join up properly. And so what I've got is I've got my 3 different types of wood, or 4 different types of wood, plus my black and white or light and dark wood bandings. And I'm kind of liking this idea of having it a little bit off center on both sides and alternating white, black to black, white, black in between the colors of the woods. And like I said, this is the headstock side, so this would be covered with fingerboard, so I'm not worried about that. I still think that I would like a little black and white around the inside and around the outside, and I will probably do that with these black and white here. Maybe 2 on the outside and 2 on the inside, something like that, something simple. And I can come back later, and if I want to, I can, I could put a design down the middle of those if I like. But that's where I'm going with the rosette at the moment. I think that will look pretty sharp.